Okay. Right. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge, ProChargeEV.com. All right, y'all are back home. Got home last night. Little flight delay there on Southwest, but still got home. Back to Baton Rouge about 8:30. So easy travel day, all things considered. So successful 4 days there at SEC Football Media Days. Would love your feedback for those who followed along with the content, the pictures, the shorts, the videos, the live shows, obviously. Big takeaway. So this morning we'll get word. The league office will announce the preseason all-conference team and the projected order of finish as voted on by the media. So East, West, and overall SEC champion. I've said it all week. I fully expect that. Of course, Georgia is going to be picked to win the East, but I think LSU is going to be picked to win the West, and Georgia will be picked to win the league overall. So I had a lot of the majority of the media with whom I spoke all said they were, not all, but overwhelmingly said they were picking LSU to win the West. Now, when you actually have your ballot and you have to fill it out, well, you do it, but we'll see. But I do expect that. I think it'll be close, but I do think LSU will be picked to win the West. And the media is always wrong. So last year, Alabama was picked to win the West. They were wrong. So we'll see. Okay, let me know. Takeaways, feedback y'all got. We appreciate it as always. Bart St. Germain, Nicole Haver, Charlie Cavell, good morning. Appreciate everybody for being here. Darren Reeves, good morning. Awesome job at Media Days. I enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you, Darren. Appreciate that, man. You know, it is a lot of work, man. It's and the thing that's interesting about the way that it's structured is, I'm on from 3 to 6, but usually by the time I'm on air, 3 of the 4 schools are done and gone. So you just have to really work all day to gather as much content as you can for the show. So I get it that there's a lot of stuff that we're playing that's recorded, but it's all fresh content. All of it's new from that day. But thank you, I appreciate it. It is a long day. I mean, you basically just park it at your table all day, just in the chance somebody walks by, you can grab them, you interview them, however. So, hey, Dad, good morning, Scott Shirley. Good morning from Bossier. Enjoyed the interview with Aaron Murray. Because of how you both challenged each other. Okay, good to know. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Aaron's a good dude, man. And, I do appreciate it. And one of the things that was interesting that Aaron said, I've said for a while that I think it's the weakest quarterback year in the league since 2014. And he pushed back a little. He said, there's a lot of unknowns, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of players who we don't know about that he's optimistic are going to be really good. Like he pointed out Carson Beck at Georgia. Maybe very high on Joe Milton, for example. We'll see about the Bama guys, but anyway, yeah, it was good. He is feeling a little uneasy though about his records falling. I couldn't tell if so for those who don't know, Aaron Murray holds basically every career SEC quarterback record. I mean, he was a 4-year starter at Georgia, and he was on 4 really good teams. I mean, he was on the team in 13 in the SEC championship game where they flat ran out of time, if you remember, against Bama. Like they were driving for the winning score, and they were down at like the 5-yard line, and just the clock ran out on them. He was on some really good teams. So he threw for a lot of yards and won a lot of games and attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns, like all the stuff. I mean, but Will Rogers is probably going to break all of his records this year. Will Rogers has been playing in the air raid and is a 4-year starter. So, and I think Aaron's a little like, I thought he might have just been joking, but I think he's a little uneasy about his records falling. So that's going to be something interesting worth watching as the year goes along. Jump over here to YouTube and say what's up to these folks. Brad David, good morning. Leandra Lewis, good morning. Let's see, Brad, enjoyed your conversation with Gary Danielson. I never understood why he gets so much hate. Yeah, Brad, I'm glad you said that, man. And look, whenever I posted a picture, announced it was coming on, same thing. No thanks, he hates LSU, Bama, Homer. Like, I'll try to explain this as simply as I can. CBS picks the best game of the year. Over the last 15, or of the week. Over the last 15 years, more often than not, that's Alabama. And more often than not, he's calling Bama wins. I mean, what are you supposed to nitpick and tell them why they stink? But if you heard the Gary Danielson interview, man, he was so effusive with praise for LSU. I mean, it was the recall too is impressive. I mean, that's a guy who's in his 70s, pushing 70, and I might be in his 70s. How old is Gary? Gary is 71. So his recall, sharp plays, moments, people, really incredible. Andy Boy, good morning. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Colby says hi. Good morning, Colby Nelson. Hope you're doing great. Wendell Norman, good morning. Gregory Gordy, Matt Plavidal, Michael Huffpants, Larry Garner. Let's see. Dwayne from Thibodeau is a punk. Yo, what up, Matt? Are you going to get Dixon? Am I going to get Dixon? I don't know the question. Let's see. Lakin Gilbert, good morning. Just got off 12-hour shift. I'll stay up for your show. Appreciate it, Lakin. Thank you, man. Got to get that money, man. Jason H., good morning. Dane Bergeron, good morning. Gregory Gordy, most interesting or unique answer to a question from an LSU player. Most interesting or unique answer to a question, player non-LSU. I don't know that it was necessarily an interesting or unique answer, but I will tell you the guy that I thought was most impressive was Josh Williams. I thought he did a great job. I think sometimes, here's the thing that, just so you can put yourself in the mind frame, in our mind frame as we're doing those things, those players have about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour time when that's a window. And it's basically in 10-minute increments, and they are just going and going and going and going. And so often they're going to be asked the same question over and over and they prepare for it. They know it, but it's there are things you have to ask, right? Every Mississippi State player I talked to, I had to ask the Mike Leach question. You can't do an interview with a Mississippi State player, or I got to interview Zach Arnett, without asking about Mike Leach. I mean, their coach died in the offseason. I get you have to answer this 50 times today, but I have to ask it, right? So I think the guys that understand that and can just barrel through and recognize and give great energy every time they give an answer and to be thoughtful about responses, those are the ones I think that stand out the most. I thought Dallas Turner from Alabama was magnificent. It is so hard, because the way that happened too with Dallas Turner, he's the awesome outside linebacker. The way that happened was he was sitting down, so they finished their rotation, came back to Radio Row, and he's sitting down with Chris Gordy, my buddy who's the LSU guy who works at 790 in Houston. And so I walked up to the SID, and I was like, hey, is he going to have any more availability? They said, look, he's got to run over here to do on 3, but when he's done, if we have any time, we'll come see you, but I can't promise it. No worries. So I was ready, and the guy was looking at his clock. He's like, I literally have less than 5. This has got to be 2-3 minutes. We ended up doing 4 minutes with Dallas Turner. So when you have 4 minutes, think about how short of a time that is. When you have 4 minutes and you can actually say something engaging or make an impression in such a small amount of time, that's really impressive. So, like by contrast, Will Rogers, the quarterback from Mississippi State, looked very tired. And I could empathize because I caught him near the end of his day, and he really perked up when I asked him about hunting. But anyway, I would tell you Josh Williams. I thought Josh Williams was very thoughtful with all of his answers. I think his answer that he gave about how crowded the running back room is and how they're all going to get touches, and he kind of made it a comparison to like playing Madden, and he was like, if I'm playing Madden, Legacy or whatever it's called, he's like, I could have Bo Jackson in the game, but if I make the decision I want to run Barry Sanders on this play, it's not that Bo Jackson's bad, it's just the decision I made on this play, and I just wanted to get the first down. So he said that's kind of the mentality in the running back room, which I thought was really interesting. Tiger Diver, good morning. Y'all do me a favor and
smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Mike the Tiger, let's see. Are you going to get Shay on the show? LSU's going to have a Bayou Splash with top targets for LSU next weekend. Yeah, happy to do that. Weston Weaver, what up? Finally able to catch you live. Thank you, Weston. Brad David, how much equipment do you travel with? Do your show outside the studio? It's kind of condensed over the years. We have a kit that looks like a suitcase that has a Rode mixing board, the streaming laptop for the video, the headsets, all the cables, cords, power, everything, and then another bag with a camera that we use for the broadcast camera and tripod. So not a ton. Trent Delahousse, Zachary Snyder, morning Matt, wasn't able to catch a lot this week. Any discussion on special teams? Well, South Carolina did bring a punter. Cliff, if LSU doesn't win the West, would the season be a failure? Yeah. Or disappointment, underachievement? Yeah. I mean, you won it last year. You're a deeper, more veteran, more talented team this year. Yeah. I think you should be back in Atlanta. I think that should be how this goes. It's not to say it will, but I think you should be. Trent Delahousse, good morning. Great job with interviews and media days. Tough task doing interviews on the fly. You make it look easy. Thanks, Trent. I've had a lot of experience. We've been going since 2012, so you do that every year since 12. You get a good flow of how it goes. Dane, the issue with Danielson is no matter what game he's calling, he always finds a way to talk about Alabama. That's just not true, Dane. It's just not true. Like, that's an example of the thing I always talk about with the fan echo chamber. Like, you've convinced yourself that because message boards tell you that he's a Bama homer. Like, that's just not true. The guy went to Purdue. I mean, it's just not true. Ronnie Dugas. And so, like, anytime he does mention Alabama, then you see he's always talking about Alabama. Like, you've convinced yourself of that narrative. So any supporting evidence you remember. It's like with baseball. It's like we had the Jordan Thompson conversation last year. He had a really rough start to the year, and so then anytime he made any mistakes, I see he can't play shortstop. No, he was awesome the second half of last year, and really all of this year. But people convince themselves that narrative, or the LSU bullpen, right? Anyway. Ronnie Dugas, good morning. Are the short interviews because of the person's schedule? Yes. Peter Burns, for example, you only had a few minutes. So the Peter Burns interview was just because we were right up against the top of the hour. So we have a hard break. So when you hear people say top or bottom of the hour, I don't know if everybody understands this, but think of a clock like a literal clock, like a circular clock on the wall, right? So 12 is here, so that's the top of the hour. 30 is here, bottom of the hour. So when you hear people say top of the hour, they mean like right at noon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So I know I have a hard break because we have to hit Sports Center. So I have to break at 55:45. So 3:55:45, 4:55:45, right? 4 o'clock, 55 minutes, 45 seconds. So I have to hit a hard break because we have that 4-minute break plus the 15-second legal ID and then to hit Sports Center. So when Peter had walked up, I had an interview that ran a little long. And so Peter just literally walked up to, He was just, just bebopping around. And I was in a break, and I was like, here, put on the headset. And so, like, we literally had, I think, 5 minutes, and that was it, 4 or 5 minutes. How long do you think Lane stays at Ole Miss? As long as he wants. They love him. I'm just curious if he'll continue to love them back. Michael Cook, good morning. Kelly Gross, good morning. Zachary Schwarzer, good morning. Happy belated birthday to Drew. Scored a Stag Jr., very share which we share disdain for. That's okay, though, Zachary, man. It's great trade bait. I don't know if Ryan Dixon's watching, but I'm going to trade him a Weller 12. So I'm going to trade him my Stag Jr. for a Weller 12. Brant Roban, good morning. I'm at Gabriella's middle school orientation. Can't believe I have a middle schooler, Lord help me. Onward and upward, man. Philip Striva, Ron Ritchie, Jeff McKithen, what's going on? Ali Samanduri, good morning. David Tolson, appreciate y'all for being here so much. The privileged Florida AD still did not answer my email after he had my son evicted from the last CWS game. That probably gets a lot of emails. Ronnie Duga. Oh, sorry, I read that one. Kirk Taylor. Brad David, do you find Greg Sankey to be personable? Yes, actually. I don't know to the audience how he comes across, but I think he has learned a lot from Mike's Live, which is to be stoic in that spot. You never really want to show emotion. Because when you are negotiating and making high-level decisions, emotion is generally not a good ingredient. You want logic. And so I think he's very careful, especially when he's answering questions, not to say anything of significance like that. So when I talk to him, and the good thing is I've talked to him so many times, he knows me and he knows I'm, I've talked to the guy for a long time now. I mean, I know him well, professionally well. My tactic with him is always to talk about him, to get him talking about himself. That's why we talked about his travels, his family in upstate New York, what games he's going to, what he did in the off season. He's a big music guy, so with concerts, so he's done Ironmans and stuff like that. So I always talk to him about that stuff that I know will get him flowing, and then I can kind of sneak in a nine game schedule, him in TV contract, the stuff that he may be interested in talking about. So anyway, but if I just want a canned answer from the commissioner about a 9 game schedule or TV contract or whatever, he said it on the big stage. You're just gonna get the same thing he said on the big stage. You know what I mean? So what tack can I take that's different? But no, he's great. I think he's great. Kiffin looked like he had way too much fun on Broadway the night before. They flew in the morning of, and they started the day, Kirk. So Lane got started at 9 a.m. And so if you start at 9 and you're flying in from Oxford on a private, no doubt, but think about what time you have to be up, dressed, ready at the airport to then fly to Nashville to then, ride airport to Hyatt to then get started on media days. So, early day. All right, I got to get going, y'all. Let's see. Please
smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Do what E-Rock said. Subscribe up to the channel if you're new. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Daniel Berry, good morning. Strong side. Apollo Balboa, 1985. What's up? Give us the Saints' final record for the season. I'm going to go 9-8. Any word on how the visit went with Holman? No, honestly, man, when I'm gone, I talk to Erica morning and then at night. I'm so disconnected from everything other than what happened those 4 days. Today is a huge catch-up day. Calls, emails, texts, all that sort of stuff. So if I missed anything you sent me in the last week, because we had Drew's birthday party on Saturday, and then I traveled on Sunday, and I'm basically telling you I have been completely out of pocket since Saturday. So if I missed you, I apologize. Michael Castello, Guy Brooks, welcome back to the booth. Thank you, man. Ryan Pike. Right. Nyquillis, what's up, dude? Devin Johnson, Gregory Gordy. Did you order any baseball natty memorabilia? No, Gregory, I didn't, man. You know, like, I'm at this point where, like, if y'all see, like, this backdrop, my office is so cluttered and overflowing with stuff. And my work office is getting the same. Like, I have stuff that's just, like, sitting on the floor and in cabinets because I have so much of it now. And it's like, what to do with it, man? I mean, the thing we promoted, the Nyko Sports Baseball, that's pretty awesome. Like, that's one thing that's small that I think is commemorative and pretty cool if you wanted to get that. But no, I don't. Terry Radney, high school football coach in Colorado here. Lifelong Tiger fan. Last night during the off-season workouts, a junior suffered an injury that will cost him a big part of his season. Shout out to Devin. Get better soon. Definitely, man. Sorry to hear that, Terry. Our best to Devin. Good luck to you and your team this year, man. Okay, I got to bounce. Y'all have an awesome day. Please smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe up to the YouTube channel. AFR at 3. We're looking forward to being back in the studio, and we'll see y'all then. Have a great day. Peace.